So this woman, 49-year-old Lydia Mugambe, is a UN judge, and she has been convicted in the UK of slavery. Yes, slavery in 2025. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about 49-year-old Lydia Mugambe, a UN judge from Uganda who has been convicted, not just accused, not just charged, but convicted of slavery in the UK. Now, this story is much deeper than what you may have seen, because if you see a headline that says, okay, UN judge keeps woman in her home to do chores and cook, some of y'all are going to say, oh, ABO, it's not really a big deal. I mean, come on. Free room and board, and you do a few chores. What's wrong with that? Well, this story is much deeper than that. And if you are a UN judge, can't you afford to have a paid maid, a housekeeper, a cleaning service, a nanny, a butler, something? Don't you make enough money to make that happen? I'm just saying. Now, if you guys have not seen Miss Mugabe, again, 49 years old from Uganda, a UN judge, that's her right there with the crazy UK wig. I don't know what's going on with these wigs in 2025. I guess it's tradition. I get it. But at a certain point, it looked ridiculous. Maybe they always have. I don't really know. But that's her right there. Again, if you are a UN judge, you don't have enough money to pay for a person rather than having a slave. Now, before I go any further into it, let's get to a clip of her being interviewed by the authorities out there. I will link to this video in full in the box. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I'm going to have to now arrest you on suspicion of keeping somebody in slavery and servitude under the Modern Slavery Act. So you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence.
Look, I'm so surprised. So surprised. Seriously, ma'am, I don't think it's really that surprising. I think you know exactly what's going on here. And when I get into the details, you'll definitely know that she knows what's happening right now.
You don't mention one question, something which later on in court,
Officer,
anything you do say may be used as evidence. All right. Sorry?
I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity. I am not a criminal.
You've got immunity in this country?
Yes. I have a diplomatic passport.
You're a diplomat?
Yes.
So we'll need to see that then.
Now, I don't know about the whole diplomat thing. I don't know about that. I mean, as a UN judge, are you also a diplomat? Can you be a diplomat and be a UN judge? I'm not sure how that works. Y'all let me know in the comments if you know.
Yes.
And then we'll need to speak to the embassy if you are a diplomat.
I came here as a student. I don't need her to work for me. I didn't come with her. She asked me because she has worked at my home before. She asked me.
So unfortunately, I'm going to have to now arrest you on suspicion.
All right. So that's the video right there. Again, I'll link to it in the box. Before we get to the article, elephant in the room, is anybody surprised that a UN judge would do something like this? I mean, shout out to the UN. I know there's plenty of good guys and girls over at the UN that do a lot of good work in this world. However, there's a lot of corruption. And look, you know what? At least it wasn't some Jeffrey Epstein activity, because it could have been that. It's a lot of that happening with the UN. It's an old saying, wherever the UN goes, so does a certain trade that's not very family friendly. All right, let's keep on going here. Let's get to an article, because now we got to get to the nitty gritty. Here we go. We're on BBC. UN judge guilty of forcing woman to work as a slave. That's a key word right there, forcing. It's not just a matter of, okay, somebody's in my house, they're living with me, they're doing a few chores because they want to. This is my niece. No, it's not quite that way. So look, a UN judge has been convicted of forcing a young woman to work as a slave. Prosecutors said Lydia Mugambe took advantage of her status over her victim by preventing her from holding down steady employment while forcing her to work as her maid and provide childcare for free. See, that's the key right there, because look, if I am a regular employee, then I can go work wherever I want to work. I don't have to work for you. I could quit, go get another job. I could have more than one job. I could do whatever I want. But see, when you are a slave, the whole idea is You work only for me and you work for free. You are my possession. That's the idea of slavery. Let's continue. The 49-year-old, who is also a high court judge in Uganda, was found guilty of conspiring to facilitate the commission of a breach of UK immigration law, facilitating travel with a view to exploitation, forcing someone to work, and conspiracy to intimidate a witness. Now, of course, these are UK laws. They may be a little bit different than the US. What I see right here would be called human trafficking over here. That's what it sounds like. This is a textbook case of human trafficking and slavery. So she'll be sentenced on May 2nd at the Oxford Crown Court. In footage released by the Thames Valley Police, Mugambe appeared to shock. Like you saw that, like the big eyes. Gasps were heard from the public gallery as the verdicts were given, and the court was clear as the defendant appeared unwell. Caroline Hawkey, KC, prosecuting told jurors during the trial, Lydia Mugambe has exploited and abused her alleged victim, taking advantage of her lack of understanding of her rights to properly paid employment and deceiving her as to the purpose of her coming to the UK. So we're talking about someone who is not from the UK. Now, listen, if you are a UN judge, surely you have enough salary monies to go out and hire a maid, a nanny, a butler, a cleaning service in the UK, rather than going back to Uganda or sending for someone from Uganda to come to UK and be in your house only, for free. She alleged Mugambe, who was studying for a law PhD at the University of Oxford, had conspired with Ugandan Deputy High Commissioner John Leonard Mugera to arrange for the young woman to come to the UK. Okay, now it gets deeper, right? Prosecutors said the pair participated in a very dishonest trade-off. Now we're talking about purchasing the woman, okay? So now you're in my house, you can't leave, you're working for free, and I purchased you from Uganda and brought you to the UK for that purpose. That's textbook slavery right there. I don't care if it's black on black, white on black, black on white, whatever the colors are involved. This is textbook slavery. Okay, let's keep on going here. So it was a very dishonest trade-off in which Mr. Mugera arranged for the Ugandan High Commission to sponsor the woman's entrance into the UK. In exchange, Mugambe would attempt to speak to a judge who was in charge of legal action Mr. Mugera was named in. She was also found guilty of conspiring to intimidate the woman to withdraw her support for the prosecution and how the charges against her dropped. Okay, so look, there's more, but you get the idea of what's happening. Shout out to the UK for enforcing some anti-slavery laws. You know, the UK knows about slavery very well. These guys colonized half the planet, and slavery was a big part of these colonies. So they know about it very well. They know how it starts. Because some people will see, okay, it's just like a friend of hers, like a little niece, and she come into their house doing little chores. But nah, see, she was like taken from Uganda. Like it was a whole thing where they got her from Uganda, sent her to UK just for that one purpose, to be in their house and doing whatever she's doing for free. That's what the idea was, okay? To the point where she had to promise somebody in Uganda a favor to make that transaction happen. It was a trade-off. The woman was sold to the judge. That's how this whole thing works. And slavery is still going on right now to this day. We abolished it here in the US. Now the left keep trying to bring it back with these migrants. Unpaid labor or low paid labor, taking advantage of people that are, you know, in vulnerable situations. Didn't we see something like this with the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy? Now, I'm not saying Phil Murphy has a slave in the South, but what I am saying is it was kind of weird because he said, oh, I'm harboring an illegal alien in my home. Okay, now, who is this illegal alien you're harboring? Who is this person? Is it a woman? Is she in there cooking and cleaning? How much are you paying her, Mr. Murphy? Oh, I can't pay her because no. How much are you paying her to do that stuff? And it's the same kind of thing because if she's here illegally, you got to Anne Frank. She's pretty much hiding in your house. She can't go anywhere. So you have a captive person who will do this and do that. And if she doesn't do this and that, hey, one phone call away. ICE, come scoop her up right now. See, that's called coercion. That is part of how slavery happens right now, today, 2025, in this country. And of course, all over the world, as we saw in UK, and it was probably the same way, I'm sure, in Uganda. The lady admitted it. She said, well, she has been here before working for me, working in my house, probably not in UK, probably in Uganda. Okay, probably had her as a slave there and then wanted to be a slave again out in UK. Even if the young woman wanted that to happen, the way that whole thing transpired, you can't do. It's illegal because it's slavery. Now, as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to everybody that knows how this whole thing goes, that recognizes slavery when you see it, and all those who are against slavery. Like I said, we abolished that in this country a long time ago, but it's still going on. So some people have not really gotten the message. They're not really up to date. They're still going to use that slave labor because it's convenient, it's easy, it's cheap, and they don't really care too much about people's human rights, I suppose. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about this woman, the UN judge, keeping a slave in her home and getting convicted? Are you surprised? The UN would never do a thing like that. Are you not surprised? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is clearly slavery, an open and shut case. It's nothing to discuss. I mean, you purchased her. You're trying to stop her from getting regular employment. You're not paying her. She's doing chores. It's a slave, a house slave. I mean, she's not out there shucking corn or nothing crazy like this, but it's still slavery. In United States, slavery, you had guys that were in the house and guys that were out in the field. Women too. Yes, one might be quote unquote better than the other, but slavery is slavery regardless of what's going on. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.